Alright, hi, my name is Joshua Coleman. Presented for you now is my video assignment number 1. The workout that's going to be shown off in today's video is going to be heavy off-season type lifts for baseball players. In the video shown, I won't be using any weight just due to having a lot of surgeries and injuries in the past, and also to just get the proper form down. For the workout today, the needed equipment would be TRX bands, a squat rack with a bar, a bench station with a bar, kettlebells, dumbbells, a pull-up bar, a Stairmaster machine, a row machine, and weighted plates. Now that we kind of know what we're getting into, we can start getting up into the warm-up section for today. To start it off, we're going to just go with about 5 to 10 minutes on the Stairmaster. Just try and get to a sweet spot of where you feel ready to work, but not too cold, but you're not tiring yourself out completely. The Stairmaster is great for just getting the whole body warmed up and feeling good, and especially gets your legs warmed up. After that, we're going to go through a dynamic stretch routine, and then after that, we're going to have a few more specific exercises to the lift that we're going to be going through today, and I'll explain those more on once we get to those. Okay, so here we have the Stairmaster machine. It's a pretty simple exercise as long as your gym where you're working out has one. You're just going to get up there and you just basically just walk stairs. I like to take it at a really slow pace in the beginning, and then about every 30 seconds of exercising, I like to increase it a little bit just so you can start to really increase your heart rate at a good rate. You're not forcing yourself into too much exercise at once, but you're going to slowly build up and get to a good spot. Okay, so now that we've finished up on the Stairmaster, we're going to move straight into the dynamic stretch routine. To start off the stretches, the first one we're going to be going through is your knee to chest stretch, which is going to be a great hamstring and glute stretch. To do the stretch, you're just going to lift one leg up and you're going to pull your knee towards your chest, and you're going to really feel it in your hamstring. You can emphasize this by leaning back with your whole body and pulling more, and you'll start to feel it in your more into your glute. The next stretch that we're going to be doing is the toe pull stretch, which is going to stretch out your quad. Essentially, you're going to grab with the same leg and same arm as on each side. You're going to grab your foot, essentially, and you're going to pull it towards your glute, and you're going to really feel your quad open up. If you want to emphasize the stretch, you can lean forward more, and you'll start to feel it more in your quad, higher up towards your hip. The next stretch we're going to go into is scoops, which is another hamstring stretch, similar to the first one. You're going to put your heel in front of your opposite toe, laterally to it, and you're going to reach down and just scoop towards the floor and try and imagine you're scooping up dirt. You don't essentially have to touch the ground, but you want to get as deep as possible into the stretch in order to hit your hamstrings hard. Next is just your hip stretch, which you're going to pull your heel towards your opposite hip flexor and just pull it up there, and you're going to feel it on that hip, like that hip that you're pulling the foot up with. If you want to emphasize this stretch, you can kind of sit into it and breathe it out a little bit. The next stretch you're going to be doing is lunges with the twist, which is really going to hit your hamstrings, quad, and then your thoracic spine. So you're just going to reach out with your front leg. You can rest your knee if you want or not. It's not an emphasis on this one. And then you're going to just give it a little bit of a twist at the end and really open up your thoracic spine. The next stretch is a really dynamic stretch. You're going to move into your Superman stretch, which is going to be similar to the lunge, but then you're going to drop your forearm as the same side as your lead leg, and you're going to open up towards your lead leg and open up your thoracic spine. Now I'll move into showing examples of how these stretches are done. Typically, you want to do 4 to 6 reps, just depending on how you're feeling that day. If you're especially tight that day, definitely do more, possibly do an extra round of these, just to really make sure you're ready for this workout, because it's going to be a pretty heavy load workout. So anywhere from 4 to 6 reps for 1 to 3 sets if needed. Exercises, we're going to move into our workout specific exercises. There's going to be 3 different exercises, and we're going to be doing about 2 rounds and about 8 reps for each exercises. So your first exercise is going to be RDL to squat flow. Basically, you're going to start and you're going to have a plate. Most I would ever do on this is about 25 pounds. You're going to go into an RDL phase, and then immediately after you hit your peak range of motion with your RDL, you're going to go into a deep squat. Try and get as deep as possible, really work on that range of motion. And then after sitting there for about 2 seconds in that deep spot, you're going to pop up and move into the next rep. And then the next exercise you're going to be doing is a push-up, just a simple push-up. You're going to be doing about 8 reps of these. On each rep, you want to try and do 2 seconds down and then 2 seconds at the bottom, and then pop up quick. Really work on getting your chest, get a little blood in there, get a kind of a small pump going. Then the next exercise you're going to be doing is a horizontal push press. The emphasis on this exercise isn't so much the press, but it's really making sure you have your having your back in a really tight position, and you're going to be making sure you're pinching your scaps together. Even as you press, it's going to be really easy to come out of that position, but you got to really work hard to keep your scaps tight together. That's going to make the exercise a lot more difficult, and you're going to feel it way more after. And then after you finish these, you're going to move into your main exercise of the workout. Okay, so for the first modality of the lift, we're going to be doing resistance training with barbells. So for the first exercises we're going to do is going to be a squat exercise with the barbell. Your first round is just going to be normal squat. Just get yourself at a comfortable width. You're going to go as deep as possible into your range of motion. Really load this one up. You're probably going to be looking around 70% of your max, because you're going to be doing about 4 to 5 reps, doing as deep as possible, controlled. You're going to be going for about 2 seconds down, 2-second hold at the bottom, and then pop right up. In the video shown, there won't be any safety bars, just for sake of the recording. But when you set this up, you should for sure have safety bars at the correct height and use a spotter if needed. For your next set, you're going to be doing heel elevated squat with a narrow stance. The best way to set this up is just put a plate underneath your heels. Just make sure you get in a comfortable balance position, and then you're going to have your feet much more narrow than you typically would. This is going to put a lot of emphasis on your quads, especially with your heels elevated. The next exercise you're going to move into is 1.5 squats. You're reason for it being called 1.5 is you're going to go down like a normal squat, and then as you come up, you're going to stop halfway and go back down and start your next, go back down and then restart the rep essentially, and then go back up. So it's like you're doing 1.5 squats each rep. For this one, for those last two exercises, you're definitely going to want to decrease the weight to a comfortable position where you can get about 6 to 8 reps in. Okay, so one thing that you want to really emphasize when doing this exercise is making sure that you keep your knees tight and pressed out. A lot of times you'll see when people start squatting heavier weights, you're going to see your knees start to cave in. If this happens to you while doing any of these exercises, you want to make sure you reduce the weight and just drop the weight immediately so you can get back to a comfortable position and go back to where you can get through the range of motion while keeping your knees pressed out. And then another emphasis thing that you want to make sure to look out for, your spotter can obviously look out for this, and then you'll also be able to see it really well if you record it from a side angle, is make sure you check your bar path and make sure it's like really straight up and down and it's not falling back, or if it's not leaning forward in too much, because you want to make sure you're just going straight up and down. Okay, so for the upper body portion of this modality, we're going to be doing just normal flat bench press with the barbell. Then the first set is just going to be normal bench press with the normal width. As these are should be experienced lifters, you should know how to set up whichever is comfortable with you on your grip. So you're going to set that up, and you're going to be doing around 8 reps. So load it up pretty heavy to a comfortable spot where you can keep it at a 2-second down, 2-second hold at the bottom type pace. And then for your next set, you're going to be doing a wide grip setup. So basically, you want to figure out where your normal grip is, and then go about a fist size more wide, just so you can really stretch out your chest and get into a deeper position. And then for your last set on flat bench press is going to be a narrow type grip. So you're going to do the opposite. Instead of going out of grip, a fist-sized grip, you're going to go in a fist-sized grip. And really keep your elbows tucked and by your side as you go down, and try not to let them flare out. For those last 2 sets, it's similar to a squat. You're going to want to reduce the weight to where it's comfortable, but you're still getting the good lifting. One key factor that you need to emphasize when doing this exercise is making sure that you have your 5 points of contact, so that your feet are in the ground, your butt's pressed against the bench, your back is pressed against the bench with your shoulders back, and then your head is against the bench at all times. And then also, when you're doing these exercises, you want to make sure you're keeping your elbows in a good tucked position and you're not letting them flare out too much, because that's when you're going to start getting shoulder pain during these exercises. The next modality we're going to be doing is resistance training with dumbbells, which is number 3. So for these exercises, you're going to be doing farmer's carry. The first set is just going to be normal weight on both sides of the farmer's carry. You're going to be going about 30 yards in length, so it's going to be about 15 yards there, 15 yards back. Just find a comfortable weight that's pretty heavy, but you're not going to drop it. You can definitely control it that weight, and you're not going to feel rushed like you're having to move too quick through your pace. For your next set, it's going to be single arm carry, aka briefcase carry, which you're going to just basically whatever you were doing before, just only grab one dumbbell. When you're doing these, you got to make sure you keep your core tight so you're not leaning over and like having to compensate for the weight. Try and keep yourself as straight as possible, and don't give into the lean. If you're having to lean, I know like a large amount, definitely reduce the weight until you don't have to do that. The next exercise is going to be overhead carry, which you're simply going to go have a single dumbbell and you're going to press it overhead, and you're going to walk with it, extend it out. You don't want to have your elbow completely straightened out, but give it nearly just to have a slight bend in it, and you're going to go the same distance. 30 yards, and then you're obviously going to need to reduce the weight since that's going to be an overhead carry. It's going to be a lot harder and can be a little more strenuous than the other two. Okay, so for the upper body portion of this modality, we're going to move into normal dumbbell press as your first set. You're going to be doing about 6 to 8 reps. Just keep it controlled as we've been doing throughout this workout. 2 seconds down, 2 seconds at the bottom, then press up quick. Your next exercise is going to be neutral grip press. So you're going to have them tucked at a neutral position right at your side, and you're going to keep them over your body the whole time. And just once again, 2 seconds down, 2 seconds up. And then your next exercise is going to be single arm press. You may need to reduce the weight just due to it being only one arm. You're going to feel off balance. You're just going to, same process. You may need to, I like to counterbalance it a little bit and put my opposite arm that's not holding any weight on top of my body. Just kind of feels better to have it there than just hanging off to the side. And then once again, like I said, you're going to put emphasis on this. 2 seconds down, 2 seconds at the bottom, then press up quick. Really try and push out of it and really explode out of that bottom position. For the next modality we're going to be moving into is going to be your resistance training with weighted plates, which is number 2. To start off these exercises, we're going to be doing the lower body portion, and we're going to be doing RDLs. For the first round, we're just going to be doing normal RDLs, just with the plate out in front of you, just get into your full range of motion. The next set, you're going to be doing elevated RDLs. So you're basically just going to put a plate underneath your feet, whether you want to do a 45, a 25, doesn't matter. And you can add more plates if you really want to get deep into the stretch and you can get to the full thing. Basically, you just want to, this is just going to emphasize the range of motion that you're moving through and really stretch out your hamstrings and pull them into that lengthened position. Then the next exercise you're going to be doing is a single leg RDL, which this one you're going to reduce the reps from 8 reps on in total to 1 to 6 or 6 reps on each side. For this one, it's going to be hard to hold your balance, so if you have to pause in between reps, that's okay, but just don't count the rep you did in order to keep your reps good. For the upper body portion of these exercises, we're going to be going back to an exercise we did from the warm-up, which is going to be weighted push-ups. For this, you're just going to put a plate on your back, kind of in your midsection, not on your lower back or on your butt, but try and get like right in the middle so the weight feels balanced. For your first round, you're just going to be doing normal widths, just like however you would normally do a push-up, whatever feels comfortable. For your next round, you're going to be doing narrow grips. You're going to want to move your hands in so they're right by your side, and your elbows are staying in a tucked position when you go down. And then your last round is going to be wide grip. So you're going to get to a wide, comfortable position where you can still get to your full range of motion, but you're really going to feel a deep stretch at the bottom. For each of these exercises, you're going to be doing about 6 to 8 reps. And you're going to be holding it for trying to control the rep as much as possible. It's going to get hard towards the end, but 2 seconds down, 2 seconds at the bottom, then really explode up if you can. For the next exercise group, we're going to move into kettlebell resistance training exercises, which is going to be modality number 10. For the first exercise round we're going to be doing is just kettlebell swings. For the first exercise, you're going to be doing just normal kettlebell swings. You're going to want to find a good heavy weight for these, but where you're not it's not out of control and the weight's not pulling you, but rather you're pulling the weight. For the second round, you're going to be doing kettlebell swings with a squat at the bottom. So just really emphasize getting into a squat as you typically would with kettlebell swings, but get way deeper with it. And then for the last round, you're going to be doing single arm kettlebell exercises. So reduce the weight that you've been doing. Find one that you can control with single arm that you're not getting out of control with. Okay, so for the upper body portion of the kettlebell exercises, we're going to be doing holds in different shoulder positions. So for the first exercise, you're going to be doing hold in a lateral position. You're going to do about 15 seconds on each arm. You're going to be holding the weight straight out with an extended arm. Don't go heavy with these. The most you should probably be doing is about 15 pounds. You're probably going to, as you'll see in the video, I start shaking. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That just means your functional stabilizers in the area are really working hard to keep that weight up. And that's going to be really good for baseball players specifically, to strengthen those stabilizers and really just put your shoulders in a lot of controlled, safe stress. For your next exercise, you're going to go 45 degrees and you're going to move your arm over 45 degrees from a lateral towards your frontal raise. And then for your last round, it's going to be just a straight out in front of you frontal raise with the kettlebell. Okay, so the next group of exercises we're going to be doing are going to be using the TRX band. So we're going to be moving into modality number 8. For the lower body portion, we're just going to be starting off with TRX band squats. These are going to be pretty easy, but your legs are going to already be pretty sore. So you're just going to move into really getting through your range of motion and keeping blood flow into that area. So you're just going to go about 8 reps of deep squats, really get through your full range of motion, and sit into that bottom position. Your next exercise is going to be a lot more difficult than what you just did, and it's going to be single leg squats. So you're just going to want to set yourself up for a normal squat, and then you're going to lift one leg off and use it just to balance you out with the exercise. You want to go as deep as possible with these. If you can't get all the way down to the bottom, you don't have to. Just try and get into the deepest position that you can and drive through it as you go up. And then the next exercise we're going to be doing is just a hold at the bottom. You're going to try and aim for around 30 seconds to anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute at the bottom. It should be a good length of time to hold it. And then as soon as you're done, you can just let yourself drop. You don't have to pop yourself back up, as you'll see me do in the video. Okay, so for the upper body portion of the TRX band exercises, you're going to be starting off with just simple rows. It's going to be really easy. Just try and pinch your scaps back as much as possible when you pull, like try and squeeze a pencil in between your back. Just emphasize on really using your back and not so much your biceps on this. And then for your next exercise, we're going to be doing TRXWs essentially. So you're going to have your shoulders up in a raised position, and you're going to pull up and just really emphasize on pulling with your back. These are going to be pretty difficult, so do anywhere from 6 to 8 reps, as much as you can. And then for your next exercise, it's going to be even more difficult. You're going to be doing attempt to do Ys. Your body's going to pull yourself more down into the W position, as you can see I do in the video. But attempt to try and get up as high as possible and do these Ys where you, with your arms extended fully over your head, and drive yourself up. These are going to be great for hitting your upper back and are going to be really difficult to get through at the end. Okay, so for the next group of exercises that we're going to be doing is body weight calisthenics. So it's going to be modality number 5. For the first group of the first set, we're going to be doing just normal lunges. When you go out, you really want to emphasize on popping back up from where you were, so that way you're really driving and using your, all of your muscles to really push yourself back up and explode out of that position. These exercises are great because you're also going to be working on getting a little bit of a stretch at the same time. The next set you're going to be doing is reverse lunges. So instead of forward lunges, you're just going to you're going to go backwards. This is a good way to kind of just train your brain just to move yourself through different ranges of motion that you're not naturally going to do in most exercises. And then your next set is just going to be side lunges. You're just going to reach out to your side and then really drive yourself back up. It's kind of similar to doing a speed skater, but without the jumping portion. For the upper body portion of this modality, we're going to be doing just pull-ups. For your first set, you're just going to be doing regular width, shoulder width pull-ups. You're just going to be doing as many reps as possible. Just burn out on these. The next exercise, you're going to be doing wide grip pull-ups, which is going to be a lot more difficult. So you're probably going to have to reduce the weight or amount of reps you do. And then your last set is going to be neutral grip pull-ups, which is going to be typically this is the easiest of the three. But when you do these, the emphasis on this is making sure you're using your back. You don't want to swing through the exercise. That's where people are going to you're going to lose out on this exercise is when you start swinging. You want to keep your core tight and then keep your legs straight. Don't cross your legs. And then really just pull through your back and use your biceps as well for this exercise. Okay, so now that you've finished your 6 modalities and you're completely done with the main exercise, you're going to move into your cooldown segment now. And to start it off with our main exercise for the cooldown segment, we're going to be doing rows on the row machine. This is one of my personal favorites just because it's a great full body workout and it's not very difficult to do. So for this exercise in the cooldown segment, we're going to be aiming for about probably 4 to 8 minutes. You don't want to do too much, but you want to get enough to where you kind of feel good about yourself and you're getting like a last minute heart rate push in there. But at the beginning, you want to start off pretty fast, and as you go, you're gonna slow down. So you're gonna feel your heart rate decrease as you go. Is the goal. So you just want to really make sure on this you're working both sides of your body because it's pretty easy to lean off on one or just specifically hit arms or just do legs. With this exercise, you want to make sure you're hitting both, and you're really emphasizing the pull on each. After you finish that, you're going to move into your stretching exercises, which you're going to have 6, and I'll go over those shortly. Okay, so for the first of our static stretches, we're going to start off with the doorway stretch. This is an easy stretch. You can do it anywhere in your household. You basically just want to go up to a door frame and use your arms as the side to hold you up and just lean into it. This is going to really open up your chest and shoulders, which is going to be great for a cool down after working out here, especially since we hit chest pretty hard during this workout. Alright, as you'll be able to see in the video here, this is sort of an attempt at it because I'm horribly flexible when it comes to this position, but this is a seated leaning hamstring stretch. From the stretch, you're really going to stretch out your hamstrings and your lower back. It's a great exercise. You can do it anywhere in your household. It's super easy to do. You just want to sit on the floor with your feet straight out in front of you and just reach out and try and touch your toes. And just really inch your way out. I would try and do this exercise from about 30 seconds to a minute long, and just let yourself sit into the stretch. Make sure you're breathing, really going deep into as you go into your deep breaths, really push yourself to go into it. Okay, so the next stretch we're going to move into here is your hip internal and external rotation stretch. It's also, another popular name for this is called 90-90s. For this one, we're just going to be doing a static stretch, but you're just going to want to put your legs in like 90-degree angles, essentially, as I have mine set up on the floor, and you just want to lean over your leg, and you can lean over at different angles to hit different muscles. Like if you lean over more on top of your knee, you're gonna feel it more in your glute and in your hip flexor. And then if you lean more over towards the side where your foot is, you're gonna feel it more into your hamstring. So a great exercise. Another way you can change this exercise is you can do kind of flows where you lift your knees up and move back and forth between each angle. This is a great way to open up your hips, which is going to be really important after a big day with a lot of squatting exercises, because those hip flexors are going to really tighten up, and you want to make sure you're not allowing them to get too tight as you're trying to heal. The next exercise or stretch you're going to be doing is just the toe pull stretch again. Similar to what we did in the warm-up. This is just going to be a static stretch though. You're just going to stand still and just hold on to something if you need extra support for balancing. I think it's important to just hold on to something because you're not really emphasizing balance here. You're just trying to focus on your stretch. So this one, you're just going to pull your heel up towards your butt and really stretch out your quad. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you lean into the stretch more, you'll feel it more on the top part of your quad. This is a great exercise for stretching out your quad at the end of the day. Okay, so the next stretch we're going to be doing is called the butterfly stretch. Essentially, you're going to put your heels, you're going to touch your heels together out in front of you. This is going to be a great stretch for stretching out your hip flexors and your hamstrings at the end of the day. This is really important to hit after you've been squatting a lot because your hip flexors and your hamstrings are going to tighten up, and you want to make sure you break up some of that tissue and really allow your body to heal properly. Another way to emphasize this stretch, as you can kind of see me attempting to do, but I have really bad range of motion, is lean over towards your heels, and really that allows you to get deeper into a hamstring stretch. And just emphasize as you breathe out, push, go more, then hold it there for a little bit, breathe out, go a little more, and just keep working on going through your range of motion. Okay, so the last stretch we're going to be doing of the cool down is going to be the overhead lat stretch. Basically, you just want to find any area where you can bend over and grab something and hold on to it, and then you're going to stretch out your lats and let yourself pull. This is great for anything, any upper back areas. It's going to hit all your rotator cuff muscles, and is good for after pull-ups and stuff like that. Loosen up the tissues in that area. You want to hold this for about 30 seconds to a minute just to really let your body loosen up. And then you can drive yourself, if you want to emphasize this stretch, lean more into it and work yourself lower to the floor while keeping your arms at the same position. Alright, so now that we've finished the static stretches, that ends the cool down and that ends the entirety of the workout. So thank you for watching. This is my video assignment number 1.